You can either thrive or die based upon your layering system. So let's take a look at layering today. A little cooler weather here in Kentucky means we need to start wearing our jackets or our hoodies and that kind of stuff. So I wanted to take an opportunity to discuss layering as it presents itself for the type of stuff that I do outdoors, where I'm pretty active in the outdoors. And so I have to layer such that I can get that work done, not overheat. And at the same time, this gets overlooked a lot of times, I want to be comfortable while I'm doing it, not just related to my heat, but how my movement strategy works and all the stuff that goes with it. Base layer is some sort of wicking garment t-shirt like the ones that we sell at Nature Reliance School. Now, I don't have one of those on today because it's not that cold. I just have a regular t-shirt on. But if it's going to be cold and you're going to be doing a lot of activity, you're going to want something that wicks moisture away from your body. Yeah, cotton kills. We all know that. So get something that's polyester, or if you can afford it, things like bamboo and stuff of that nature, which doesn't hold as much scent with it. So polyester is going to be the cheapest way to go about doing this. That should be your base layer up top as well as on the bottom. So this is one of those things that you want to buy some silky kind of underwear instead of the cotton that everybody's worn for years and years and years, because that holds moisture. That's going to create a very serious problem for staying warm. Now, this is all about core body temp, okay? Meaning this part of our body is what we want to keep warm. If we keep our organs warm, then the rest of our body will stay warm. The reason your fingers and toes are the first things to get cold is because your body restricts blood flow from your arms and legs to maintain the viability of your organs. So let's do what we can to make sure that this stays warm, and a vest is what does that. Now, here's where I mean this is about comfort and the usefulness during work. If I'm going to be wearing a flannel shirt, for example, and I put a wool vest on top of it, that actually gets restricted rather quickly. If I'm wearing that polyester t-shirt though, I can wear any number of different vests and I'm not as restricted. I've got several here that I like to utilize at different times. As you can tell, this one looks absolutely worn out because this is the one I wear more than anything else. It's probably the least expensive thing that I've got here. This was a Whoopee jacket that I caught on fire at a class on the sleeve, and so I cut the sleeves off and now I use it as a vest. So you have a really light Whoopee vest that does not have a vent. There's no way of unzipping this. So this is going to keep all that warmth on you, and if you need to get overheated or you get overheated and you need to vent, this can be an issue. So if I know that that's a likely possibility, then I might wear something like this, which is, I really didn't need this Carhartt vest, but when they were doing cancel culture and trying to shut Carhartt down over stupid woke crap, I went and bought a vest just to help support Carhartt. But this vest is polyester primarily with some insulation in it. It's super thin, easy to get undergarments, and easy to get around doing work. No sleeves to restrict my movement. Now the last two are both wool, but they're different types of wool. So let's talk about this. This is your standard wool vest. I got this from Asbel Wool. I like it because it looks all bushcrafty. It also has the kangaroo pocket, which I really like. And it does have a zipper so that I can vent some of that heat off of my chest when I need to do that. This vest, I don't know, I can't remember. It's sub $100 easy. But above that, and very expensive, well, let me say this. This wool is itchy if it makes contact with your skin. Like if I pull the hood up on my neck over my head, then that's kind of itchy on my neck. Now this is a very expensive vest. This came from First Spear. It's merino wool, but it's incredibly comfortable. There have been classes where I literally put this right against my skin and spent time out utilizing it in that way because it's incredibly comfortable. It does have some breathable areas on the front where the pockets are, and you can zip to vent some of that heat off. And again, no restriction here from the sleeves when I'm doing work like working on the tractor, cutting wood, just making my way through the woods or something of that nature. So that is our core body temp. Let's take a look at what we'd put on top of that. Here's why wool is important. Wool insulates up to like 70, I don't know what the percentage is, depends on whose study you look at, way over 70% effectiveness, even when it's soaking wet. So when those garments, either one of those vests, the Asbel wool or the First Spear, is wet, it's still going to have really good insulating capabilities, whereas something like the Carhartt or the Whoopee vest or whatever, those are not going to insulate nearly as good when they are wet. So depending upon the situation, what I might be going into will determine what I'm taking with me. For more of a light insulating layer, we'll do another video later where we're talking about heavy insulation. But for most of what I do in Kentucky, I just need light insulation because we don't get exceptionally cold here. Last year we had one day where it got negative, like -10 or something, and that was the coldest day it's been in a long time. So I have one of our students, his wife works at LL Bean, so I bought an LL Bean just over jacket to support, our students. I try to do everything I can to support our students that support us. I like the coloration of it, kangaroo pocket, pit or chest zip, so you can ventilate everything rather easily. And the hoodie, the reason I like this hoodie is I can put this hoodie up and actually put a hat over top of it if I need to, like one of our caps that we sell or others that others sell. I can wear it under or over. It works really well for that. Now this piece right here is like a uniform for me. I wear this all the time outdoors. I love like brick red, maroon type coloration in the fall because it blends in with a lot of different colors. When you're studying coloration and camouflaging and stuff of that nature, you've got to look at colors that absorb the colors that are around it, and brick red does that better than anything else out here. It will absorb the colors of what's directly around it. So even though this looks like this is actually pretty good camouflage. But it's just a Polar Fleece button-up jacket. I can wear it completely unbuttoned if I want to ventilate. I can button it all the way to the neck if I need to. And just like it, I have a jacket like this that makes me look all, professional with my name and all that kind of good stuff. And this is Polar Fleece, but what separates this fleece is that it has wind block in it. That means that this is not going to let as much wind in, but that's where I want to take us next. Let's take a look at blocking the wind. Wind cheaters from Hill People Gear. Everybody knows I'm a big fan of Hill People Gear. I've got two of these. I've got the multicam arid, and then I've got the green. These work exceptionally well, depending upon the season. Obviously, in summertime or like spring, early fall when everything's still green, I'll wear my green one. During the rest of the year, when I need a jacket on in the winter, I'll use this multicam arid because it fits in really well with the leaf litter. But these are not complete, just like this fleece that I was mentioning earlier. These are wind cheaters. They are not completely wind block. They do allow a lot of the heat to come off of you, which you really want. You don't want to retain that heat, because when you retain that heat, then you're retaining moisture, and that moisture is what's going to make you cool. Here's the thing that a lot of people miss on this. This should be under a really good insulating layer if you need to stay warm in exceptionally cold weather. Again, I don't run into that much. So more often than not, you'll see me wearing this on the outside just to block some of the wind. But a good strategy if you have extreme cold weather is to put this on over a vest and then have another insulating layer on top of this, like what most people call a puffy jacket or something like that. But let me go to another wind blocking layer that I absolutely love. All right, now a lot of people know these ECWS systems that come from the United States military. These jackets are like hardcore. And I really don't know the difference between the ones that were issued to Army personnel versus Marines, but this one's got the Marine symbology in it, and I don't know the difference, quite frankly. But these things are hardcore Gore-Tex rain jackets, and they do an exceptionally good job of blocking the wind. Plus, they're articulate, meaning you can do a lot of work in them. I can chainsaw, I can get on the tractor, off the tractor, and go out and move wood, go out and do the things we do in survival, man tracking or whatever. And this is going to work exceptionally well in that very rainy weather. And you can combine it with the different systems that they make for this. But more often than not, I'm wearing one of these items that I've just described, one of the vest, or maybe even this Polar Fleece jacket, and putting this over top of it to protect myself from all the wind. I mentioned earlier comfort, and this is important because if you're going to be out and doing stuff all day long like I do, or like all weekend, or a week for that matter. We had living off the land this past year for we were out for 7 days. You want to be as comfortable as possible. So I don't layer wool on top of fleece or fleece on top of wool, because they just get hung up and it's just not comfortable. That's why I have these different garments, so that depending upon what my needs are, then I can put a light base layer, silky layer like a polyester, and then on top of that maybe my wool vest, and then on top of that I'll put one of the wind cheaters or this LL Bean jacket or something like that, where things are going to move and make it easier for me to articulate and do the things that I need to do so that I'm more comfortable when I'm in the outdoors. So what do I carry with me most of the time? Here's how I do it. I usually have a base layer of a polyester shirt, the ones that we sell at Nature Line School. I've got 5 of those things because I love them. I wear them all winter long. On top of that, I usually have this vest to keep me warm. And then on top of that, I'll usually wear a wind cheater. If I need more insulation than that, then I'll have some other sort of insulating layer. That's what I wear most of the time. And then I've always got a rain jacket around. And if I don't, I have my 55-gallon drum garbage bag that I take everywhere. So I've always got an emergency rain jacket that gets me out of the wind and the water and all that kind of good stuff. So that's a layering system consideration. It's the way I do it here in good old Kentucky, because we don't have extremely cold weather. We don't have long periods of monsoon type rains either. So with that said, keep that in consideration. You need to get a layering system that works for you in the region that you're from. And I hope this helps you get started. Come on, join in. Let's learn together.